Okay, so we are going to be interpreting graphs today, so let's go ahead and get a graph set up that we can interpret. As long as your graph is about like a 10 by 10, that would be the best, I believe. Okay, so along the x-axis, I'm going to do a different scale. So let me get it set up for you. So every 2 spaces is 0.5. And then we'll just go by a scale of 1 on the right side. But I'm only going to mark off every 2. I'll make it easier on me. Left to right. Okay, and our graph is going to be comparing pounds of meat and the price of that meat. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to be interpreting this graph by looking at several different points on the graph. So the first point we're going to look at is the point 0, 0. The second point that we're going to look at is the point 1, K, which I will show you what that K is once we get to that point. And then we're just going to look at a random point to make sure that we can interpret any point that's on our graph. So we're going to look at the point 1.757. So let's go ahead. It looks like you guys are, who needs a moment to catch up on the graph? Okay, go ahead. I'll give you a moment. And we've had really good attendance lately. It's nice having everybody here. What's that? Oh, it's not for this class, it's for a different class. I do special things depending on what class. Like you guys are right now are doing your estimation station, but you guys are the only guys doing, the accelerated class is the only ones doing that. Yeah, Jordan. I've never even put an estimation. Yeah, so I actually gave you guys another day. I know I said I would announce it today, but I had forgotten to remind my first period class that yesterday was our last day to make an estimate. So if you haven't made an estimate yet, you can still do that today. And I will just call the winner during 6th period and have them come collect their prize. Yes. What is the prize? Yeah. It's the M&Ms. You get a lot of M&Ms.
I'm gonna say for the record, M&Ms are better than Skittles.
I would agree.
M&Ms are better than Skittles.
Okay, it seems like you guys are done writing your stuff down, so let's carry on. All right. Let's reel it in. Okay, let's start with this point 0, 0. Okay. What my question is what does that point mean? So the point right here at 0, 0, for this situation, we can look at our axes. It means that we have purchased no meat, right? Because if we have 0 pounds of meat, it's going to cost us $0, okay? So we can say we have purchased no meat. And we can also say that 0 pounds of meat costs $0, which makes sense, right? You shouldn't get charged for not buying any meat. Okay.
You saw that meat, you have to pay for it.
Okay, let's take a look at another point, 1K. Do we remember what the x-coordinate of 1, what the name of that special point is? Go ahead, Karen. Unit rate. What else can we call it? Say it out.
Constant of proportionality.
Ooh, you guys are so much more awake than first period. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to put a little note here, just so that we can remember that this is the constant of proportionality. Ooh, and I'm going to run out of room because that's a long word, but you guys get the drift. And we can also call it the unit rate. Okay, unit rate, constant of proportionality. Well, let's find that on our graph. Okay, we already pointed out that this point right here is 0, 0. Now to find it, we're going to go, we know our x value is 1, and we're going to go up until we hit that point. And then we can go across and see that our y value is 4. So this is the point 1, 4, or 1K. So I'm going to put that point under here just so that we know that for this graph, 1K is 1, 4. And since this is our constant of proportionality, you guys already have a lot of experience telling me what this means. So we can say for, 1 pound of meat costs $4. Or you could put it the other way. You can say that it's $4 per pound of meat. Okay. And this is like my favorite point on the graph, because once you know this, once you have your constant of proportionality or unit rate, you can use that to answer for any amount of pounds. Okay, if you want 20 pounds of meat, you can just multiply that by 4 and find out how much it's going to cost. Okay. But it's also important to be able to interpret any point on the graph. So we're going to find this point, 1.75 and 7, and it's right here. Okay, and if you are unsure of how to interpret this point, I would recommend taking a look at the axes. Okay, I go down and I see that, oh, this is pounds per meat. So this is 1.75 pounds of meat. And I go across, and the price is $7. So that is helping you with your interpretation, because we can say 1.75 pounds of meat costs $7. Okay. So far, so good?
Wait.
Yeah. Okay, so I do want to do one more example where your unit rate is less than 1, because we haven't really looked at a lot of examples like that. Again, if you could just make it like a 10 by 10 grid, coordinate plane, that'd be awesome. Does not need to be exact or perfect, as long as you can just get some points on there. That's all that matters. Yep, sure can. Just want to make sure some people get finished writing down the things. Okay. All right, so for this graph, we're going to compare rooms painted to the number of days you've been painting. So on my x-axis, I'm going to go by a scale of 1. So each square is 1 day. On my y-axis, I'm actually going to go by a scale of a half. So this will be a half, and then this is 1, 2. So basically 2 spaces for every one. We can just call this Miss Max painting speed or something, if I was going to paint the rooms in my house. The nice thing about proportional relationships is sometimes it's easiest to just make the scale just right so that your line can be perfectly at a 45-degree angle. It makes it easier for graphing. Just like before, we're gonna interpret those same points as before. I'll give you guys a second to get caught up. Okay, so does anyone want to take a stab at what that 0, 0 would mean? Go ahead, Irvin.
We haven't even painted yet.
Yeah,
Started.
we haven't even started painting yet. Okay. That is sufficient for me. If you were to answer that way on a test, I would say great, because it's clear that you fully understand what that point means. You can be more formal about it too, and you can say, you've painted 0 rooms in 0 days. That's fine too, okay? But I do tend to be partial to the just saying it like it is. No painting has even happened yet, okay?
You say eat candy in the house?
Huh?
You don't eat candy in the house? I
I-
heard you say that.
Oh, what?
I heard you say don't eat candy in the house.
Don't eat candy in the house?
I heard you say that.
Well, we eat candy in our house. Not very often, but you're right. I don't eat very much. My husband likes to have a little piece of candy each night, but you're sleeping, Robbie.
Never mind.
Oh, you're gonna do this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the point 1K?
How many rooms per day?
Yes. And what is the actual coordinate location of that?
1 and 1 and half a room.
Yeah. And you can write it as a fraction, a half, or you could do 0.5. And yeah, I would say you paint 1/2 of a room per day. 1/2 of a room per day. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't. I can usually get a room done in one day. It depends on the room though. Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
How did you get 1/2?
Because when I looked at this, I could see that it crossed at 1/2. That's one way. Another way is to take any point on the graph and just divide it. So I could have done this point right here. 2 divided by 4 would be 1/2. Because you always divide your y over your x. And I purposely did one that was a fractional point like this, because a lot of times when people see this, they want to then, because it's 2 and 4, they want to divide the 4 by 2 because they think you should have a whole number, but you don't always have a whole number. Okay, so that's a great question. All right, now let's interpret that last point. It's 7 and 3.5. It is right here. And like I said before, if you need to, just follow this down. This is days. This is rooms painted. Okay, so in 7 days, we're able to paint 3.5 rooms, or 3.5 rooms. Okay. Y'all good? Okay. You guys have the rest of the class to. Oh wait, hold on. Yes, Olive.
So will we always be given at least 1 point when trying to find the constant of proportionality?
The only time I do something funky like this, where I give you 1K, is that 1 point.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything else, I'll tell you it's 0, 0, or I'll give you the point. This is the only special one. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
What's the popcorn and soda party?
It's a different class. I do different fun things for different classes. Like you guys, I give you a piece of candy on Fridays if you get your that quiz in less than a minute, which I will do today. And we've got our estimation station, and then other classes have different needs. All right, rest of the class is to finish your homework so that we don't have anything to do over the weekend. Sure. Yeah, here. Oh, I'm gonna pass out your quiz too.